Good morning, everyone. Like in the last class, we're trying to discuss the introduction part as well as we identified. So two example using the particular basic example we implemented on the last class. And we'll try to go to the same example one more time here. And if you are having any questions, so please let me know. I will try to re-explain one more time here. Basically, in the last class we implemented this is how to print on the some information on our console. Okay, and one more we implemented here using this particular conditional here. What we are implementing here, we're trying to provide some control statements here. Observe here. So yesterday we defined integer x comma y, and some of the values we implemented is nothing but we initialize the x value 10 and y value we initialize 20. And after that, what we are doing here, we are trying to making some condition here. What is the condition we are making? If x greater than y, if this particular x value is greater than to y, so what we are doing, just we are giving an option to print this particular value called system.out.println some x is less than y. Getting the point. And if this particular condition is not satisfied, how we are going to identify whether this condition is satisfied or not? Whenever we are making anything, so if something, so what we are doing here, x greater than y, right? This particular block is going to return true or false. True or false. Whenever this returning true, what it will do, whatever the statements we are having, the below statement is going to execute, right? Or the beside statement, whenever we are making the beside, only one statement is going to execute it here. If this particular condition is going to return true, and if it is returning false, what will happen here? This particular block of code will not execute it. So getting the point. So this is very important. Wherever we go, we are going to implement this particular if conditions number of times. In the real-time application, we are going to implement number of times. So that's the reason we need to know carefully like how exactly this particular conditional, how it's going to work internally. Getting the point. And inside this particular block, what we are implementing here, so something called 10 greater than 20. So if you know the simple mathematics here, you can easily understand this particular block of code is going to return true or false. True or false, right? So based on this, what we are doing here, we are trying to provide the sysout information here. We are trying to provide the system.out.println message on our console here. Okay, back to here. This particular condition is not satisfied yesterday. So because of that, we did not get any this particular message here. Remaining two are condition satisfied, we are getting the message here. But carefully observe here. And one more I want to explain here. Basically, initially, what is the value we are having? The x and y here. Initially, x value how much? X value how much? It is 0. And y value? Y value it is 0. So why we are getting 0? So that is I will explain later. Getting the point. Why we are getting the 0. But back to here, the line number 14, what we are doing here? We are trying to initialize with the 10. What will happen here? The 0 will not available. The 0 will override with the 10. Same way, this particular 10 is override with the 10 is override with the 20. Getting the point. So this is the way the 10 and 0, these two values are going to override. And after that, what we are doing here? What we are doing here? So now you can observe here the x value how much? It is 10. So 10 into 10 into 2. So can you mute yourself? I'm requesting. We are unmuted as of now. So still few of the people are unmuted. Can you mute? So 29, 32, some of the people still. Hello? So I'm requesting everyone, can you mute yourselves?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, tell me.
Oh, no. I just want to make sure that it's mute or unmute.
It is unmuted. Okay. Observe here, whenever the line number 17 is trying to execute here, what we are doing here, we are trying to change the value is nothing but we are trying to multiply with the two number. Now what will happen here? Again, the 10 is no longer available. Now the values become 20. So how the 20 came? Because of this particular multiplication operation here. Right. After that, what we are doing here? So we are checking one more condition here. We are checking one more condition. The condition is going to satisfy. Again, what we are doing here? We are trying to do one more multiplication here. So carefully observe. So based on the which value the multiplication is going to perform. So either 10 or 20. So which value is going to perform? So if you want to communicate with me, you can message me. You are having any queries regarding related to your today class, or if you want to, if I'm going to ask anything, you can communicate over the chat. So most of the people, they are unmuted. We are going to get the background voice here. So that's the reason I muted everyone. So if still you want to discuss with me, just message me. I'm going to unmute. Okay. So back to here, observe here. So either the x value is going to multiply with 10 or 20, because you can check here the current value x is 20. Right. Now using this particular 20, the multiplication is going to perform here. So carefully observe here 20 into something called 2. So we are going to get some 40 value. Again, the 40, what we are doing here, the 20 is going to override, the 40 will come into the picture. So this is the way the value is going to change internally. But make sure, and I want to provide one more step here. Here, instead of x is equals, instead of x, if I want to make some more here, something called z. So now observe here, now carefully observe, the one more step enter into the picture here. So carefully observe one more time here. Again, I want to specify this is the x value and this is the y value and this is the z value. Initially, the 0 will come. Initially, the 0 will come. Later, we'll check why the 0 is coming. But make sure observe the line number 14. What we are doing here? We are assigning. It is nothing but we are initializing the 10 value. Now, the 0 will gone, 10 came. Same way, line number 15, what we are doing here? We are trying to initialize with 20. Right. But still, the z value, it is 0. We are not initializing as of now. Right. Now, you can check the line number 16. You can check the line number 16 here. What we are doing here? So we are making some condition. What is the x value? We are having 10 and y value 20. So this particular block of code, it will return false. It will return false. Right. Whenever it is returning false, what will happen here? Whatever the message we implemented, this method will not executed here. And back to here, the line number 17. The line number 17. So observe carefully what we are doing here. And x multiplication with 2. What is the x value we are having? Still we are having 10. And 10 into 2. So we are going to get something called 20. So this 20 value we are assigning into x or z. So carefully observe here the operation. This is very important here. Whatever the x value we multiplied with x value, so we are assigning into z. So carefully observe here this point. Getting the point? We are assigning into z, not the x. So still this x value 10 only. Now this particular z values become 20. The z value become 20. How we are getting this particular z value? Whatever the operation we are performing on the right side, the operated like the final value, if we get anything, we are assigning into the left side variable. Getting the point? So here the right side value we are doing the some operation, and final value we are getting something. The final value we are initializing into the left side variable called z here. This is very important here. So single equals is going to provide the initialization, is nothing but we are inserting the value, and double equal. This particular double equal, what is going to do? Whatever the value we are having, the left side value or right side value, both are is going to check the condition. Check the condition is nothing but both the values are equal or not. Getting the point? Both the values equal or not is going to identified here. So make sure this is very important. The single equal statement and double equal statements here. Getting the point? So this is the way the value changed. Now it's become the z value 20, still the x value 10. And after that, now after that, what we are doing here? We are checking the one more condition. We are checking the one more condition. Still, this is also it will return false. This is also it will return false. And now what we are doing here? We are making the condition here something called 10 into 2. So now we are going to get 20. But still, this condition also will return false. Okay, carefully observe here. I want to provide the same example in the debug mode here, so that we'll get an idea how exactly it's going to work here. Okay. Now, so let me run the same example in the debug mode. Observe here, if we want to run the application in the debug mode, we are going to have debug as Java application. Debug as Java application here. Now, observe here. So we'll go back to the perspective. So carefully observe here. So whenever if I'm going to click this particular on top of this icon here, so these icons are very important here. So these two or these three as well as this one, the four icons are very important, is going to play important role in the debug here. Getting the point? So if we want to click on this, what it will do is going to execute line by line, and this one is going to enter into the method. This the particular arrow is going to enter into the method, and as of now we did not find this. We'll get to that one also. So if we want to come out of the method, we can go for this section, and here whenever we are making breakpoint to breakpoint, so we can call this particular, and if it does not have any breakpoint directly, so it will not stop anywhere directly. It will go to the end of this particular cursor. Right, back to here. So what I'm doing here, I made one breakpoint here. So this is the way we can execute the code, and we can stop in the between whenever we are having any queries here. Okay, back to here. Now what we are doing here, now I am changing the x value. You can check the left side section here. Inside this particular variable section, we can able to find whatever the current class information we are going to find here. Now you can identify the x value we are getting 10. So same way we can check the y value. Observe here the value y value we are getting 20. Now So observe here, I'm trying to select the code which is available inside the if block, which is available inside the if block. Whenever we select the code, what we can do, whether the particular code is returning true or false, how we can identify? Simply Control Shift I. Control Shift I. So observe carefully. We can check here. It's returning false here. It's returning false. So it's nothing but whatever the value, based on the value, the condition is not returning true. So that's the reason what will happen here. This particular code is not going to execute here. So carefully observe here. Any message we are seeing on the console here, the console section we can check in the bottom. We are not seeing any statements here. Okay, back to here. One more here. Z value you can identify here. How much we are getting? 20. The Z value we are getting 20. So now you can check the condition here. This particular block of code, again it's returning false. So make sure internally you need to understand how exactly it's working here. So something called x equals to 20. So this is where the like operator is going to perform internally. So whenever we are making any code inside the some block of codes, so something called this. Getting the point. Now back to here. So that one also it's not going to execute. So still we are not seeing anything. And we can check the x values. Now you can identify x values changed here. Initially it is 10. Now it's become 20. Observe here we are getting some yellow line because the values changed here. Again, the condition is still not satisfied. So this particular block also not satisfied, and we can identify no println statements is printed on our console. Why it is not printed? Because of some of the conditional statements are not matched here. Any questions regarding this? So if you are having questions, please let me know and message me, or if you want to enable the mute also, I will enable. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, what we can do, we'll try to move on to the one more concept here. So in the yesterday class, what we are doing here, I explained one concept called initialization here. So in the which scenario we are going to call initialization, in the which scenario we are going to call declaration. Getting the point. So declaration, the line number 13 we are going to call as a declaration, and the line number 14 we are going to call initialization. So initialization is nothing but, so we are trying to provide the some value to the particular variable here. What is the variable we are having? So what is the variable we are having here? Something called x is the one variable, y is a one more variable here, and z is a one more variable here. Getting the point. So these are the three variables we are working in our current example here. So the line number 13 we are going to make as a declaration here. So back to here, one more concept here, and we are having some of the values. We want to make some iteration here. We are having some of the values. We want to make some iteration here. So carefully observe here. To work on the same example, what I will do, I will create a one more example here. Something called, you can observe here, whenever you are going to click this particular checkbox here, what we are going to do, we are going to get this particular main method information here. Okay, back to here, finish here. Now observe here, what we can do. So simply again I want to make something called declare this particular variable here. Okay, and after that what I am doing here, So this is the one more important concept here. Whenever we want to like loop the variable, getting the point. So if we want to access the variable one by one, what we can do here, we can go for this particular loop concept here, the for loop here, and observe here what we are going to do. So first we'll make some syntax here. So syntax is nothing but this is the keyword we need to make here, right? For is a keyword here, and after that, so the first one we need to specify initialization, and the second one condition, third one iteration. So these are the syntax we are going to call here. So this is the syntax to follow whenever we want to perform any loop the variable. It's nothing but whenever we are having bulk of variable, we want to get one by one. So this concept will useful. And here, what is the syntax we need to follow here? Basically, first we need to specify the initialization. So how we identify the initialization here? On the yesterday, like in the last class, in the yesterday also we identified something called x is equals 10, x is equals to y, x is equals 0. Some values we can provide the concept will as a okay. So now back to this particular condition. Basically, this particular loop is going to repeat multiple times, and we want to stop in some condition here. Getting the point? We want to stop in some condition. So that's the reason what we can do. We need to make some condition here, and here iteration is nothing but, so based on the increment value or decrement value, how many times, so we are going to loop this particular loop here, and observe carefully. We'll try to focus on by writing the simple example here. Okay, now what I can do here, first we need to check here initialization. So how we can specify the initialization here? X is equals to 0. But observe here where this particular x is coming. The x is coming from the on top of line number 5 here. And after that, what we are doing here? We are making one semicolon, because this is the syntax we need to follow. The second one here, x. What I am doing here, I want to make something called x less than 10. Observe here, so just now we identified the condition, but I am trying to provide the one more way in the which scenario also we can make the condition here. And so observe the x plus plus. Here we can work with this particular loop concept here, and after that, okay, so as of now we don't want to discuss this. So this is the better one, x is equals to x plus 1, and simply we'll print the statement here, and let me write here something called the x value we want to print here, and x. So carefully observe here, again I'm trying to append one string with some integer data type here, right? So carefully observe, now I want to run the same example here, and go back to this particular console here. You can identify how many times the x value is printing here. The x value is printing 0 to 9 times, is nothing but 10 times. After that, what happened here? So why the x value is not printed the 10 value here? Why the x value is not printed up to 9 times only? Why it is printed here? Okay, so simple example, I want to provide the one more steps using this particular debug style. Observe carefully. So you can check the x value on the right side here. X value how much we are having? 0. The 0 is printing. So you can check the console also. Right. Now you can check here. The X value is now changed here. X value is now changed to 1. And you can check the condition block here, something called Control Shift I. Now you can check, still it is returning true. So observe 1. X is changed to 2, printing the statement, and X is changing to 3, printing the statement. So this is the way internally it's working here. Up to how many times it will work here? So 9 times is completed. You can check this particular conditional block here. Still it is true. What happened here? It is false here. So the last one we are getting false here. Because of that, what happened here? It's not entered into this particular line. So it's come out of this particular loop concept. So directly it's going out of the main method. So any questions regarding this loop? So this is very important. Just make understand here. So in the loop also how we can work on this particular conditional statement here. Getting the point. So now this is the identified, but make sure here everything we are working on the single line here. Everything we are working as a single line. So if you want to work something called block of statements. Right. Now what we can do here? Go back to here, the RLS demo here. RLS demo. Let me enable here. Not this. We'll go back to our example, what we used in the last class. Okay, simple example. Back to here. Now, what I am doing here, I want to make something here, or we can create one more class. So that is better here. And here, what I can do, block test, and enable the main method here. And here, again observe here, x comma y, and y is equals to 20. Cutting the point. Now, what I want to do, observe here, x is equals to 0. Again, I want to use the same condition here, x less than 10. And here observe, x plus 1 I want to make here. And so carefully observe here, I am opening one curly braces here. I am opening one curly braces, I am closing one curly braces. So how many lines of code you want to write, you can write inside this particular curly braces here. So simple one, I want to provide two statements here. I want to specify two statements. This is something called x here, right? And the same way, I want to make one more variable, one more sys out here, that is called y. And here I want to make y here. And after that, so observe here below statement here, y is equals to y minus 2. How many statements we are writing? We are trying to write 3 statements internally in the block of for loop. Getting the point. So observe here. First we'll check directly what is an output we are going to get. So carefully observe here. So these are the values we are getting here. These are the values we are getting. So initially x is 0, y is 20, and after that x is 1, y is 18, and x is 2, y is 16. So up to how many times the loop is repeated here? Up to 9 times. Is nothing but initially it is started from 0. So we can include the 0. How many times the loop is repeated? 10 times. Getting the point. So this is the way the loop is repeated, but observe how the values changed here. Getting the point. Now the final here we are making something called y is equals to y minus 2. So carefully observe, we can run the same example using the debug mode, because I want to specify here how exactly this particular y value is changing here. Now back to here, y value here. So carefully observe here, x is 0, y value 20. So can you check with the left side the variable section here? 0, y is equals to 20. And after that you can observe here, the y values become 18. How it is changed here? Initially the y is 20 and we are doing some subtraction here, and the subtracted value again we are initializing into the y only. Again we are initializing into the y. Now what is the y value? Now it is 18. So observe one more time, the x is become 1. So check here, y is 16. So carefully observe, every time this particular subtraction is going to perform on the original value. So the original values every time is changing here. Getting the point. So carefully observe, 14, something called 12, 10, 8. So this is the way the y value is reducing and x value is increasing. Getting the point. So this is the loop concept here. So finally we can check the condition is false and it's come out of the the particular loop. Okay, so this is the way we can check here the loop concept here. But here make sure along with this particular subtraction, what we are doing here, we are making some block of code here. So how we can work, that is also important here. Now back to here. So yesterday we identified some bracing concept here. In the which scenario we can work this particular brace, and which scenario we can work on the so which scenario we can work on this particular brace, and which scenario we can work on the this particular brace here. We identified just now this particular brace, and later we can check on the this particular braces semicolon. So why we need this particular semicolon? So terminate the current line here. To terminate the current line, we can go for this particular semicolon and comma. So we'll see later in the which scenario we can work on this particular comma, and the last one here, dot. So this dot also we can identify in the which scenario we can work for this particular dot. So currently we identify this particular brace, and this braces also we identified this particular semicolon. So this is very important. If the semicolon we miss, we can get the compilation error here. So that is also we will see, but make sure this the main important concept here we need to understand whenever we are trying to develop any applications here. Okay, so these are the simple example. So we'll go for the data types here, because from the basic example we are checking with this particular int data type. So how exactly this particular data type is going to work and why we need to use here, and that's we are going to see. Back to here, in the Java, basically Java is a strictly typed language here. So whatever the type we are specifying, we need to work on the same type here. If you are trying to work with a different type, so we are going to get error here. We are going to get error. So we'll see what kind of the error we are going to get. So but now, so just imagine Java is a typed language. Whatever the type we are specifying, we need to work on the same data type. And internally, Java having 4 categories data types here. Getting the point. The Java having 4 categorized data types here. So first one here, integers. Getting the point. And second one floating, and the third one here characters, fourth one here boolean. So these are the 4 categories here. In the fourth category, we'll check how exactly the internal subcategories will identify. In the integer category, we are going to have 4 data types here. The first one here, byte, short, int, and long. And in the floating, float and double. Getting the point. In the character, we are going to have that one only, char. In the boolean, we are going to have true or false. So we'll see first this particular integer category. Later we'll move on to the remaining categories here. So basically, the integer category related information, what it will do whenever we are trying to work with numbers here, right? So that's we identified the x is equal 10, 0, 5. Those values we can work with this particular integer category data types here. Right. In the integer, we are having 4 data types. So we'll try to focus on the each data type. Basically, each data type is going to occupy some space. Right. So it is depends on the each data type here. Back to you, this particular byte data type. Back to you, this particular byte data type here. How much space is going to occupy? It is nothing but 8 bit of space is going to occupy here. Whatever the code we are implementing, internally the code is going to convert into the binary format here. Getting the point. So in the binary format, whenever we are working with this particular byte data type, how much space is going to work here? Something called 8-bit here. Getting the point. So if you are having some knowledge here, something called 1011, so something 0000, some 11. So this is the some binary format is going to use internally. Getting the point. So this is going to index like the binary format. Same way, this particular byte category is going to work here. 8 bits here. 8 bits here. Getting the point. Same way, the short is going to take little bit more here. The short is going to take little bit more, something called 16-bit here. It's going to have 16-bit here, and the integer, this particular int, is going to take something called 32-bit. So like basically, if we want to know the internal style, first what we need to know how exactly this particular binary format data is going to work. So when you identify, so you can easily understand here how exactly it's going to work, this particular 8-bit, 16-bit and 32-bit. And final, the long is going to take little bit more, so that is called 64-bit. 64-bit. Each 8-bit, this is the range of this particular 8-bit. Same way, you can imagine the 16-bit, it's going to have something called 11, 00, so 00 or 000, 111. Some numbers we are going to get in the binary format. So basic idea I'm giving here, but we don't want to discuss more internally how exactly it's working here. Okay, just get a simple idea. Each data type having some different bits here. Same way, the range also it's having different here. So this particular 8-bit is going to take the range here minus 127 to not 127, 128 to 127. So this is the range the values is going to store here. Basically, the byte is going to work on the network related application or streaming related application. We can use more this particular data type here. Other than this, in the any example, we can work this particular, the remaining 3, something called short, int and long here. Getting the point. And each data type having some range here. So compared to the byte, other having the more range here. The short having something called 32,768. So this is the range it's having. Some range here. 32,767. Getting the point. But now the int and long it's having little bit more. So we don't want to discuss the range. But make sure each data type having some specific bit here to store the values here. Getting the point. So normal application basically will go for the int only. By default, this particular data type will available. If you're not specifying anything internally, it's going to treat it as a this particular int data type. Okay, back to here, the remaining one more data type called floating data type here. So in the floating, we are having float and double. Basically, these two data types we are going to work when we are communicating with amount related examples. Getting the point. So in the amount related example, we are going to get something called 5000 dot, so 00. Getting the point. So this in this case we can work with this particular two data type here, and here the float having single precision value and the double having more than single precision value. Getting the point. So now if we want to work with 5000 dot 0, we can work with the float, and more than single zero we can go for the double data type here. Getting the point. So both are is going to work with the amount related, and it's also having the byte form bits is going to take here. This particular float is going to take 32. This particular bit float is going to take 32, and double is going to take 64 here. So this is the binary bits is going to take internally, and we'll go for the character something called carrier. And whenever we want to store the single character something called A, B, C, so like a single characters, we can work with this particular char data type here. And compared to the C and C++ data, the char in the Java data type is going to take more. Basically, is going to take 16 bits here, and in the C or C++, those are it's going to take 8 bit. Getting the point. In the C and C++, character is going to take 8 bit, but why is taking more in the Java? Basically, is going to communicate with the internalization concept called Unicode system here, and whatever the value we are going to specify, and internally is going to check with the ASCII value. So we are having different kinds of the ASCII value. Just find in the Google, you are going to find what exactly the ASCII value is going to provide. So we'll see on the simple example on this particular char data type which ASCII value we are going to get. So observe here, back to here, the Boolean data types here, true and false. So that we are identifying here the current example, how exactly the true and false data types are working here. Okay, so we'll see on the simple example. We'll see on the simple example on the each data type. Back to here. So we'll try to focus on the, go back to here, we'll create a one more example here, something called, so light speed. Okay, now observe, I'm specifying one data type here, something called int. So light speed, long days here. long seconds here, long distance. Getting the point. So these are the declaring the variable, and after that what I am doing here, so just I want to specify approximately the speed of this particular light here is nothing but what I am doing, I am trying to initialize the value. So 186000, some speed I want to specify here. So it is not exact, just I'm giving a random value here. And after that, what I am doing here, thousand, right? So days I'm making some 1000 days. And after that, so we want to check the seconds value here. So observe how I want to specify this particular seconds. Basically, we want to check with the days, right? How many days we are having? Something called 24. So after days, we are having some hours and minutes and some seconds. So this is the some multiplication operation I want to do here to get the seconds here. So days, in a day we are going to have how many hours, and 1 hour we are having how many minutes, 1 minute how many seconds we are having. Some multiplication I want to do. Finally, we are going to get some seconds here. After that, what we can do, we want to get something called distance here. We want to get distance here. How we can get the distance here? Here, the light speed into seconds here. We are going to get distance here. Finally, we'll print on the each one here. In these many days, right? So observe the format how I'm trying to print. So this is also important here. In days, the light will travel. And here, okay, the final one here, I want to make one more. I want to make one more here. Something called distance. So these are the println. But observe here, the output how we are going to get here. So whatever we are expecting, we are not getting the output. So in 1000 days, the light will travel. But here, so this is not the correct way of printing the message here. Observe here the difference here. So what I am doing here, I want to use only print method instead of println method. I want to use for these two statements, I want to use only print statement here. Again, I am trying to save the example. So carefully observe, using the shortcut keyboard, I am trying to run the example here. Observe how exactly we are printing it. So in 1000 days, the light will travel about, so these many miles here. These many miles. Getting the point. So this is the way we can work with the data type here. So we can't use this the bigger value we are getting. So that's the reason we are working with this particular long here. Getting the point. So we need to understand after performing some multiplication operations, how exactly we are going to get the values. So based on the which scenario we can work with the each data type here. Getting the point. So we specified the speed here because this is the smaller value compared to the long value. So that's the reason we specified the integer data type, sorry, int data type. So, and back to here, remaining we implemented the long data type here so because basically we are going to get something little bit bigger values. So someone asking the question here, can I use only one print statement and get all at once? So you can use basically what you want to do here. You need to provide some concatenation. So how exactly we are making the concatenation here? So you need to specify inside the same here. We can work on the one println statement. It will print the same value. How exactly we are specifying here? Getting the point. So this is the way we can work with the integer related here, and we'll check with the one more example on the floating. So we'll create a one more example here. Something called area. And oh, what happened? Why I'm getting this constructor? So main method here. Inside the main method, carefully observe. I'm working with a double data type here, and what I'm doing here, I want to specify some date like variable declaration here. So what is the variable I'm creating? One is the pi, one more r, one more a. So these are the three data types I want to make here. And after that, so carefully observe here, I'm initializing the value. R is equals to 10.8. Getting the point. And let me provide the semicolon here. Carefully observe, if you miss the semicolon, we are getting syntax error, insert to semicolon to complete the statements here. Getting the point. So this is we are going to get here. And after that, pi value. So how we can get the normal value I want to take here, something 1416 here. And later, to find out the area, what we can do here? So pi into r. Getting the point. So this is the way we are going to work with the area of the circle here. Right. After that, what I am doing here? So this is a shortcut to print the println method here. This out here. After that, I want to specify some message here. What we can specify here? Something called a. Getting the point. Now observe. So let me run the same example. You can identify here. You can identify. So this is the area of circle, something called 366 dot some number we are getting here. So this is the way we can work with something called the mathematics related example here. Right. And here observe which data type we are using also important here. And we'll go for the one more data type called character here. Char demo. And in the char demo, why I'm getting the default constructor? Something we miss. Okay. Back to here. So one more, the data type we are specifying something called char. And so ch1, ch2. So these are the two data types we are working. Sorry, only one data type, but make sure here two variables we declare here, ch1 and ch2. And the ch1, how I am specifying here, 88. And the ch2, carefully observe, ch2 y I'm specifying here. So this is the different data types here. Now observe here ch1 to ch2. What I can do here? Place ch1 one more. So carefully observe how exactly I want to write in the same statement here. So carefully identify here in the statement. So in the single statement, I want to print the 2 character information here. So you can check here the ch1 we are getting x, the ch2 one we are getting y. ch1, ch2 we are getting y. So but observe here, we specified here 88. Even though if we specified the 88, we are getting x here. We are getting x here. Why we are getting here? So that is called the ASCII value, whatever the ASCII value available on this particular number, that is we are printing here, that is we are getting something called x here. So if I am going to change 120, so you can check small x we are getting. What value we are getting? Small x we are getting. And if I am going to change 150, so carefully observe here, question mark we are getting. Getting the point. So each number having some ASCII value. So just find in the Google, you are going to have some table where each ASCII value is pointing to which character we can easily identify it here. So the same thing internally we are working on the Java is finding the same value. Based on that internally it's checking the particular specific ASCII value here. Any questions regarding this particular the data types and the loops and the control statements we are used here? Okay. So if we don't have any questions, I'm requesting everyone, like, can you please practice the whatever? Yes.
So my question, are you comfortable in Telugu, right?
Can you speak in English?
Okay. So you used that printf statement like 3 times, right? So I have a little bit dilemma that I can use the characters what I want to print and the plus statement whatever the value, and next again the another character. I mean like the before one.
Just
Like
see this. Just see this. Whatever we implemented, use the same thing you can implement in the only one statement.
Okay. And a debugging thing, the variable, I couldn't get that. Like, how did you got that? Like, I wanna see once again.
Okay, no problem. That we are going to see more and more in the upcoming classes.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, tell me.
So can we get all these codes in GitHub? Like,
No,
how are
this
you
code
going
is
to send
simple examples here. So
Yeah,
just practice
okay.
yourself here. The videos are available. Basically, the my intention is if I'm going to stay in the GitHub, so directly you're going to copy and paste the code and you're going to execute. So this that's I don't want to make this kind of example here. Whenever you're having any questions, go to the video and find it like where we did the mistake here. But make sure try to implement your own style here. So then only
How
you are
can
going
I
to
get
get. Sorry,
this
the videos
how
I'm
can I
going to
get
share like where you are getting the demo links. So there only you're going to get the video links also.
demo? Okay. And the other thing is, are we going to teach like interfaces and all like
So
later?
everything I'm going to this. Don't worry, I'm going to cover everything.
So you'll start with core and then advance. In that advance also you'll be teaching servlets and all, right?
No, the solid JSP we are not going to cover. We'll directly move on to this Spring.
Okay.
Okay.
sir.
So any other questions? Okay. So if we don't have any questions, we can conclude the class and we can see on the tomorrow. So I'm requesting everyone, whenever you're joining the session, please mute yourself so that the other people may not disturb here. If I'm able to see, most of the people are unmuted here.
Hello, sir. Is it possible to go in the faster manner after basics area so that we
Sorry?
can concentrate more? Can we move on the faster manner in the basic area so that we can concentrate more? We can spend more time on the advanced area.
No problem. Basically, I think you know some little bit, but most of the people they does not have. So that is difficult to other people to understand. Just to wait if you know like little bit some patience. We are going to cover each and every concept. Basically, I want to cover one more each and everything, and as well as with little bit understanding way. So I'm going to go a little bit fast, so some of the people they may not understand.
Okay, sir. If everybody accept, then we can go with the faster manner, rapid
Yeah.
manner.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to conclude the meeting. We'll continue tomorrow.